Hey, so in today's video, I'd like to explore the basic principles of stretching in yoga. So in Ashtanga, Vinyasa and Hatha Yoga, we are actively stretching. And what that means is if we're moving the body in one direction, instead of moving our whole body in that direction and kind of losing the stretch in the other side and kind of losing more that grounding and stability, we want to counteract that with a movement the opposite way, so that then we're actually working on creating a nice active range of motion and stretch across the whole body. Now, these planes that you can kind of see in our yoga mat as being the positions and possibilities to move are not just coming forward and back, but we're also thinking about coming up and down. And there's also the movements to the side. So since I'm kind of, facing a bit of a strange way on my yoga mat, that's kind of for me coming forward or back. And we're going to explore some sort of key principles of this and opposing actions in stretching through a few different yoga poses today. So you can start by just coming up to standing. And we're going to be starting with the Warrior One pose. So we're going to have our right foot facing forward to the front of the mat, taking a big step back with the left foot a little out to the side. And we'll start with our legs straight and our hands on our hips. Now in the Warrior One, we're bending into our right knee. And if I was to lean all the way into my right knee, you'll see that my left foot is kind of lifted off the mat because I'm thinking so much forward, I'm kind of forgetting that left foot. So to kind of find that resistance and that counter stretch as I bend my right knee, and you can practice along, at the same time you're grounding through your left heel, back of the left foot, so that left leg stays steady, and then you also create a sort of more active active range of motion through both legs. Now, the other thing I can think about here is we're grounding with our feet into the mat, but we don't want to kind of be just allowing the whole body to drop down here, but we're seeing, can we ground through our feet and find that stability, but also with the spine, particularly in the arms, can we lengthen up towards the ceiling? And again, as we're lengthening, we're not wanting to lengthen so much that we kind of lose that connection with the ground, but there's a feeling of lifting up as we sink down. Now, this sometimes can be a lot to think about because we're also thinking about that sort of forward and back. And there's even, it's a bit more subtle in the Warrior One, but we're wanting to spread kind of out to the side. So don't really have to think about that too much, but just knowing you don't really want to be leaning to the right or left, but we're kind of spreading the arms actively and staying pretty central. We'll change sides, so you can have your left foot forward now, right foot back, adjusting your feet, hands come to the hips here. And let's start this time with finding that grounding through the feet and finding that length up through the spine and upper body. Now, left big toe stays heavy, right heel stays heavy as we bend our left knee. So we're coming forward with that left leg, but at the same time, we're drawing our right leg back. You can also kind of see this twisting action of the spine. So our right side of the torso doesn't want to spin to the outside of the mat. We really want to kind of turn also forward as best as we can to our left foot. So these are all actions that we're moving towards rather than set positions that we have to be in. And then we're seeing if can we breathe slow and steady once we find that position. So again, you might be on the exhale, more connecting with that grounding sensation through the feet. And then on the inhale, you might be seeing, can you lengthen a little up? And then again, this can be super subtle, so I'm making the movements much bigger than you need to just to get that visual sort of idea and understanding. And then on the exhale, you can slowly release the arms, release the legs, and take a moment to shake the legs. So we're going to explore something similar in the warrior two pose. So you can again just be at the front of the mat. Right foot is forward, left foot steps back. And for the warrior two, we're turning with our torso to the long side of the mat. Now this is kind of our foundation. We're again grounding through the feet. We're lengthening and lifting actively up with the torso. And this time we're reaching the arms wide to the side. So as the arms reach wide, there's again not too much leaning forward or back. We're kind of finding that nice middle ground. So both arms reaching away from our chest. And even both hands lifting not too high up or down, but you can again find that kind of middle ground where you're still keeping the arms active. And then we bend into the right knee. And again, as we bend into that right knee, we want to draw our left heel back, left hip comes back. So you're kind of thinking hips spreading wide, arms spreading wide, head just turns forward to that right hand. Great. And if you're finding that you're maybe overthinking things a little, see if you can just slowly bring some awareness towards your breathing. So it doesn't all have to be kind of one thing you're thinking of. You might just think of one pair of opposing actions per pose. Staying here, one more breath. And then slowly we'll release the arms, release the legs, and turn the feet so we'll come to the opposite side. So left foot is forward, right heel is a little back, belly facing long side of the mat. Bend into our left knee. And again, reaching the arms wide. Now, let's try something slightly different this time. So as we reach that left arm forward, see if at the same time you can reach that left knee forward, but can you counteract that by grounding through your right leg and reaching your right arm back? As we ground through the feet, can you really find also that length up through your spine, up through the crown of the head, just turning the head to the side here. And then slowly we'll stay here 2 more breaths. Then you can just kind of explore maybe one subtle element of the pose. And then exhale, slowly releasing. And we'll just walk our feet in and shake the legs. So we'll do a couple more poses where we have a little different sort of focal point. So that focal point can be pretty interesting to explore. We're going to do the tree pose here. So since we're balancing, where our feet are on the ground is going to be important. Now, we're going to start by balancing on our right leg. So you can spread the toes of that right foot. Left foot could come on top of the right. Left foot could come to the side. You could use the help of the hand to bring the foot up. So all options are possible. And then we're going to bring the hands together in front of the heart. Now we're grounding just through that right foot. So you're spreading the toes, you're grounding through the big toe. So that's one of the positions where we can get a little wobbly. And then you're seeing with the inhale if you can really reach up through the arms. So as we ground through our right foot, we're lifting and lengthening up. With the size of the torso, you can be thinking that your left knee is spinning out, but you don't want your hips to both spin to that left side. So as you press that left knee a little out, allow your right hip to stay steady. Now, can add a bit of extra wobble, so that's why I've gone for the foot a little lower today. And then the other kind of plane is also thinking about leaning forward or leaning back. So I'll just come to the side so you can see that a little. We want to find somewhere in the middle. We don't want to be leaning too far forward or back with the torso. But again, finding that sort of central point, that active point where we're spreading into as much surface area as we can. So that's kind of what we're focusing on while stretching. And then exhale, you can slowly lower the arms down, releasing the legs, and shake the legs. We'll do the same on the opposite side. So grounding through your left foot, spreading through the toes, bringing your right foot on top of the left. If you wanted to, and you did on the other side, foot could come a little higher. And if you want to challenge your balance, using the help of the hand, I'm just going to go for the middle position for today. And then you can bring the hands again in front of the heart. So again, we're grounding through our feet. We're lifting and lengthening up through the legs, through the torso. You can even reach up through the arms here, while still finding that connection with the ground. So sometimes as we shift our focus one way, we can forget about the other side. And then that spreading to the side, you can kind of see that with the shoulders opening out. You can see that also with your right knee this time opening, left hip pulling back. And then the other plane of movement is kind of playing with leaning forward and back. And then finding somewhere pretty central. Staying here 2 more breaths. And then exhale, slowly releasing and shaking the legs. So the last pose I'd like to work on is a seated twist. So you can just come down to sit. Legs are going to be out in front. Different position because our hips are on the ground, but we still have those different planes of movement. So we're going to bend our right knee. You want to feel the hips on the ground, your right foot on the ground, left heel particularly on the ground here. And then you're really seeing if you can lengthen up through the spine and also with the left foot. So we don't want the left foot spinning out to the side. It's really nice and active here. The next plane of motion that you can kind of see is also leaning forward or back. So we're leaning a little bit towards the knee, but we're doing that in a way that we're lifting up and we're drawing also our right knee a little back. Yeah. So the hands can be nice and helpful here to create that active stretch. Now we're going to twist to the right. And this is where it might be nice actually to see a little bit more in the middle. So as we're twisting here, we don't want our right knee to spin out. We want to hug the right knee in, hug the left leg also in, so left foot isn't spinning out. And then we're lengthening upwards and we're turning our torso towards that right knee as we hug that right knee towards the torso. There's kind of this movement of actively drawing in. Yeah. Our back hand could be with just on the fingertips on the ground. So that's another point of fingertips grounding, lifting and lengthening up. And you can just pause for a breath, really explore the pose here. And then slowly exhale, release, and just take a moment to shake the legs. We'll change sides, so you can bend the left foot now. Again, hips are on the ground. This is what the body naturally wants to do. See if you can and draw up. Now, left knee again, might want to spin out. Left big toe might want to lift up. Allow the big toe to be heavy. Allow the knee to draw in. Hug the left knee with your right hand. Reaching up with your left hand here. Left hand comes behind, and then we're turning to the left side. And again, you can see what happens with your right leg. Does right leg want to spin out to the side? Can you allow it to draw a little bit more in? Staying one more breath. And then slowly on the exhale, release. And you can just release and shake the legs. So thanks for joining me through this short practice where we were sort of exploring counter stretches and really the principles of active stretching in yoga. Do feel free to like the video if you enjoyed it. Share your comments or experience to our Antara Yoga community. And if you're interested to practice yoga at home, check out the link in the comments to a free yoga guide I've got all about setting up a consistent home yoga practice. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you again soon.